All right. This is Financial Hygiene 101. I am your host, Jeff Underwood of Homo.money. And this is going to be like Andy Cohen and Watch What Happens Live. I'm going to go through my budget in real time. This is my actual numbers. I'm going to be fully transparent here just to show you how this whole thing works. So right now, before we dig into it, I just want to show you where my numbers are coming from. I've got my Mint stats here. If you go to Trends and then click on Spending by Category, you'll notice that they have it all kind of broken down. And so I'd recommend going through something like this. You can also go through Personal Capital. I've got a link to that in my blog post for Financial Hygiene 101. And just make sure that do a sanity check that these expenses are actually categorized correctly. And you might need to adjust some of the categories so they show up in the right part of the pie chart. And what I have here selected is the last 6 months. So then what I'll do is I'll look at the major categories for 6 months and I'll divide by 6, and that will give me my monthly averages. And so that's how I got my numbers. So now I'll minimize that. So this is the spreadsheet. And I will provide a link to this in the same blog post, Financial Hygiene 101, at homo.money. So what we got here is this is my current state, and then this is going to be the future state. And so I have all my income laid out here. I've got 2 paychecks a month from my government job. This is take-home pay. I get this from VA disability compensation. Future post will be coming out soon for that, for any veterans out there. This is my cash flow from my Airbnb. I did factor in what taxes would be taken out, so this is a ballpark estimate of that. And so this is essentially my take-home pay per month, take-home pay per year. And for any Vicki Robin fans out there of Your Money or Your Life, I also took my W-2 income and I divided it by 160 hours in a month. And so that works out to the equivalent of $21 an hour. And so these expenses down here, what I did was also kind of divided that by, okay, so my housing right now, I just bought a new condo. I treated myself to a new place. Well, that is the equivalent of 116 hours of my life. And that was a personal choice. I'm sure there's a lot of people saying that's crazy that you're paying that much for housing, but that was my choice during COVID to have my own place for my mental sanity. And I willingly paid more for that to have an upgrade in my home life. But anyway, to show you how this whole thing works, I've got the categories here. I've got the numbers. Now, what I did beforehand, before I started recording, was I went and I added pluses next to the different expense categories that I think I'll be able to trim out. And it auto sums here. And then you'll notice this $6,200 per month, that is more than my take-home pay here, which is $5,700 a month. And so then that means I'm short $485 a month. So I've got negative cash flow. I moved into this new place, which is like $1,800 more per month from where I was renting before in a 3-bedroom apartment. And so I need to figure out how to make up this difference, this extra $485. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to sort this from biggest to smallest. Go here, sort, largest to smallest. Okay. And so now what that is going to do is it's going to help me really hone in on what are the things that are costing me the most every month. And like if I look at this again, the housing, that was a personal choice. Restaurants, I could probably go out a little bit less, but that is an average of $20 a day. And then I've got my Roth IRA. I want to continue maxing that out. I want to continue budgeting $200 out of every paycheck for a vacation fund, yada yada. All right, and so now that I've got this sorted from biggest to smallest, I'm going to copy this entire thing, Control C, and I'm going to paste it over here, Control V to paste. Okay, so now we've got an exact replica, $485 short and $485 short here. All right, so now I'm going to look at my columns, or my categories, hit save there. Oh, and on a quick side note, I do have side businesses, but I wasn't factoring in any extra work on those. If I really wanted to hustle, I could, start drumming up business there. I also have a year left of GI Bill benefits with my VA benefits, and so if I chose to go back to school for an online part-time classes, I would have a housing allowance, a small housing allowance, but I'm not doing that right now, but that is something that is an option. I try to keep everything just, I guess, in my scope. So, but I have it as 0, but it's like, well, that is something that I could do if I really needed to. All right, so going through this, I have a senior dog. She's almost 15 years old, and her prescription dog food is very expensive. It's about $300 a month for the prescription food and the treats. And after moving into a new condo, I found an online service that would deliver a lawn, a little stretch of grass every 2 weeks. And I thought, well, this is something that I'm just going to have to start budgeting for. I live in a high-rise now. I'll need to have that available for my dog. And long story short, she doesn't use it. And she's a senior. I don't want to force her to use it. And I saw at Lowe's that they have pieces of sod that are $7. And so what I think I'll do is I'll just buy a piece of sod for $7 once a month, instead of paying $68 to have this special doggy lawn delivered every 2 weeks. So that was $68. I'm going to cut that down to $7. So then my dog food, treats, and lawn service, this is going to instead be sod once a month. So $300 plus $7 a month for sod. Now we're at $307. And if I go back down here to compare, we're already making a dent. We're going from $485 a month down to $424 a month. Okay, so let's try to get this down to 0, as close to 0 as possible. And I'm going to do whatever I can to try to avoid having to touch my Roth IRA, my vacation savings account, my Acorn savings fund, all those different things. I just treated myself to a new luxury gym membership now that I live downtown, so I don't want to touch that either. But these things highlighted in orange is what I'm going to focus on for right now. I just negotiated part-time telework. Okay, so this is 332 divided by 2. It's 166. So I'll be driving half as much, so I'm going to cut my gas bill in half. Workplace lunches, I won't be going into the office as much. And I'm also incorporating in the lessons from my post, How to Retire Sooner, with these 3 quick and easy recipes. I've been using that myself for overnight oats and avocado toast and a 3-day salad. So I'm going to cut my workplace lunches down to $20 every month because I'm not in the office as much and I'm not having as much of a need to get food once I'm in the office. For haircuts, there's a place I love to go that's $40 a haircut, and then I add in a $10 tip, and so that's $50 twice a month. I think I'm going to need to start going to some place like a chain place that's like $25 a haircut, and then with the $5 tip, that will be $30 twice a month, so that will be $60 a month. Toll road fees. So I clocked this out, and with my new location in downtown San Diego, It actually wasn't that much more when I took the toll road. It's $2.50 each way, and it maybe saved me 5 minutes. And so I've decided I'm going to only use the toll road if I need to, if it's like an emergency, I need to get to an appointment when I'm leaving work or something. But I'll say 20 bucks a month for that. And because I'm going into the office half as much, I think that I won't need it that much. I won't need to get someplace right after work as quickly as before. Let's see, I've got a lot of different streaming services here. This is because I have an Airbnb, and so I like to buy all those for my tenants. And so if you look here, these 4 things at the bottom, these are what I have scrubbed out of my budget in the past, but I think it could be nice to add them back into the future. So that's why I like to keep them on here at $0, because like with massages, I think it would be nice to add back in a massage every month. But for now, I'm just trying to tighten my belt just to make ends meet with this new place where I'm living. It's a lot more expensive, and I don't want to sacrifice cutting back on my contributions to my Roth IRA, to my vacation fund, to my Acorns slush fund. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm going to continue massaging this some more, no pun intended. But I'm getting closer to being at a zero-based budget where I've got my cash flow totally figured out and I'm able to afford where I'm living with that added expense of a new place. And so let me know if you have any questions about this. Again, this is something that I think I will be able to incorporate by the beginning of next month, November 1st. Right now we're mid-October. And so that is my plan. This spreadsheet will be available for download on the blog post at homo.money. If you search Financial Hygiene 101, it'll be available there. And again, if you have questions about this or anything else, feel free to leave them in the comments of the blog post. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for watching.